from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Planning a function, she looking for musicians. Play soca parang for the Christmas jam session. She say, I went by Skrunta, then Laddie Vina Pastora, all over the country, but you're the man to please me. Yeah, soca parang on me mind, the sweetest music at Christmas time. I want to wine and jam, play the soca parang. At Christmas time, I want to wine and jam, play the soca parang. Jam the music, Christmas music, jam the music, let me taste the sweetness. Soca parang on my mind, the sweetest music at Christmas time. I want to wine and jam, play the soca parang. Soca parang on my mind, the sweetest music at Christmas time. I want to wine and jam, play the soca parang. Play it! Come from Marima, that's the home of Paran, you know. But they have something sweeter, tell them I tell you so. Pulsating soca with the Paran flavor, mix them up together.
Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
And if starting your day right is what you're all about, well, let me tell you one time, you are in a good place. Actually, no, you're in the best place that you can find yourself right about now. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago. Neighbors who are stretching up and down the Caribbean. Good morning, good day to our friends who are streaming all around the globe.
On the dance floor gyrating.
Thank you very much for being here. And if you're wondering where here is, this is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, that we take you above and beyond. It is a God-blessed Tuesday morning, and we are glad to be here with you in the land of the living. I want to say a very special good morning to everybody. I'm yours truly, Sir Charles, in your company as we welcome you all. This is your Get Up and Go. Welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, what's
And
up?
good morning,
hold on.
yours all over the globe.
Hold on,
No.
Okay, that should take care of that.
Yeah, that took care of it. Yes, so good morning again, listeners and viewers and all our regulars on the morning breakfast show. We are happy to be with you. I'm sure Richard is somewhere there lurking in the background. He'll be on very soon.
Well, and I said he had me pausing just now because I saw the operator.
Yeah.
When I hit the queue, I said, "What?" When the operator disappeared too.
Yeah, he's looking somewhere there in the background. So good morning, everybody. Once again, it's an absolutely beautiful Tuesday morning. The sun is out in all its glory here. And we are happy to be in the land of the living. Condolences, as I said, to those who would have lost loved ones. And I was just about to pull up my birthdays when somebody distracted me with a post about Dwight York on Facebook. I said,
Oh, good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are across the planet, and welcome to the Breakfast Show. Good morning, Gwendolyn, Sir Charles.
yes, good morning, Richard. Good morning, Richard.
I was organizing my coffee there.
Yeah, I realized that.
I'm actually having a 6 o'clock cup of coffee, which I don't usually do.
Oh, okay.
I myself, I normally just drink coffee like twice a week, but I find this week I drink plenty of coffee. But
twice a week? How do you survive?
Yeah.
I at least
Actually, no, sorry about that. 3 times. I have to
drink
do
at
this.
least 1 cup of coffee a day.
Sorry?
I said I'd at least drink 1 cup of coffee a day, and probably 2.
I don't. If I drink 2 cups of coffee a day, it's because I've traveled and I'm sitting having breakfast, and that's how I take a cup of coffee. But I wouldn't drink 2 cups of coffee at home a day. I wouldn't.
When you home, you drink more?
No, I drink one. I drink one. I don't ever drink more than one.
I have my coffee days. And on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings, I have my coffee. Other than that, I don't drink coffee other than that.
I need help to fix my blinds. You see that? Just one side of me is shining because of the glare. I can't get it fixed, and it's stressing me out.
And you can't fix the blind?
No, I can't fix. Some professional need to come in and do it. It's gone crazy. Anyway, let me say happy birthday to Sean Lynch, one of my. I follow him on Facebook. He follows me too. He's a medical doctor down in San Fernando. So happy birthday, Sean Lynch. I didn't even know he was October born. No wonder why you're so miserable sometimes. Abigail Nanal. How are you going, Abigail? Abigail was she was based at the Miami consulate at one time. Karen Malchan Gervais, he used to be a big fan of ours. I don't know if he has joined this show also, but today is his birthday. Simon Valentine, Mary Fullerton, Matthew Mitchell, Rhea West. They are all celebrating birthdays today. So have an absolutely fantastic day. And yesterday I forgot one of our fans, his birthday was yesterday too. DJ Sleepy. His birthday was yesterday. All right, so belated birthday greetings to DJ Sleepy, right? So those are my birthday greetings for today. As a matter of fact, those are all my greetings today until I reach the chat. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any birthday greetings. Believe it or not.
Richard,
I had a birthday greeting yesterday. My niece, her birthday was yesterday. Liel, she turned 19. But I sent her a message and then I spoke to her briefly last night.
Okay. So happy belated birthday greetings, Leah. Richard, you know who I met? I don't know if you remember this story. Years ago, it was actually the person reminded me it was in the year 2014. So that was 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We interviewed a young man who came into the studio with his mother. He gave us a story, an episode where he left Hall and he was driving towards Piaco.
It was a police incident.
Yes. And police pulled him over, blocked him, and took him out of the car and took him to St. Joseph Police Station. And he was beaten there by a policewoman too with a book, remember?
Yeah.
I met him on a flight recently. He's a flight attendant. He reminded me, he said, I know your face, you know. I said, well, I saw you and I thought I knew you too, but where do you know? He said, your name is Wendell? I said, yes. He said, you don't remember me? I said, well, not really. And then he reminded me of the incident and how he spoke to Richard and myself. You understand? So he remembered you also. And I talked about St. Joseph Police Station, the incident at the police station and whatnot. And then I remembered him with that police. I
remember that story. But that story made news too.
It was news. It was news.
It was news at the time.
It was news, you know. So good morning to Mr. Alexander. You know, he became a flight attendant, he said 3 months later.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did he indicate to you if he ever got his situation sorted out, or if it's
no? I didn't go into details because he was speaking to me in the presence of other people, other flight attendants,
right,
who may not have known his story. So I didn't go into details with him. Then I just said yes, I remember that story now. You know.
Well, that's a good segue into our good news, because we haven't done that as yet. So let's get into our good news segment for this morning.
At the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain.
Here are the 3 things to keep private if you want real peace and happiness in your life. 1. Your next move. You ever notice how sharing your goals sometimes kills your motivation? Like you tell someone your big idea, they instantly project their fears onto it, and suddenly you're doubting yourself before you even begin. Neuroscience also shows that when you tell people your goals, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical it would release if you had already achieved them. So you feel the reward before doing the work and your motivation drops. So don't announce, execute, just let them see it when it's done. 2. Your money. Tell someone you're doing well, jealousy creeps in and you become an ATM. Tell someone you're struggling, struggling and pity or gossip follows. Either way, you lose. So stop talking about money. I treat it as energy and don't leak it away. Because when you brag, you disperse it. When you complain, you block it. When you respect it, you attract it. 3. Your relationship details. Look, no one's perfect. Every relationship has its issues. But when you start talking about them, you're not finding solutions but trading healing for noise. The more people know, the more opinions you invite. So keep your relationship off the stage. Protect what's sacred. Not everyone needs to know what's going on in your home. You see, even good relationships can start to break under too many eyes. Because love, loyalty, and peace grow best in privacy. So remember, the world doesn't need to know everything about you. In fact, the less it knows, the freer you feel.
Good message in the end there. I can add to that. Don't let anyone know what you're doing until it's done. I tell my children that all the time. So stop posting. I mean, I had an age and a stage, I guess I could do it, but I tell them, stop posting everything on social media.
And that is what I was going to tell you. That person who did that video clearly doesn't know how people are getting likes and growing their social media page.
That's all the young people want now.
They put it outside there just to grow their social media pages.
Yeah, how many times I've had to ask my son to remove certain things off of social media. Say, don't put that out there. Don't let anybody know what you're doing until it's done. Yeah. All right. So
maybe we can go to greeting people in the stream now.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Between yesterday and today, the amount of news came out. News out of Jamaica, news out of Venezuela, news out of Trinidad and Tobago. The amount of news, the items that made headlines in the last 24 hours is astounding. You understand? So
I don't know if Jamaica has been affected yet by Hurricane Melissa. I know it's due to make landfall this morning, I think.
Yeah, overnight. Yeah.
Well, I think it was this morning. Around this time, but I don't know if it was moving so slowly. I don't know if it's still on track or not. I don't know. I was looking at some of the cameras out of Jamaica.
But the last news I shared this morning was not very good news. I know that they have said that 3 people already died. And was not very good news in terms of the intensity and the damage that it could inflict on Jamaica. But let's hope that, you know, some of the other news coming out is that it's not going to be as bad, you know. So let's hope it isn't as bad, you know.
You know, regardless of what is the outcome, when you're in situations like that and you're seeing how things are developing around you like that, it really gives you a real uneasy, stressful kind of feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is something else, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, Mother Nature is stressful. When it's flexing, when she's flexing her power. Of course, she's stressful. We see it here sometimes in terms of floods, in terms of wind, in terms of all sorts of things. Very stressful.
And especially when you've been through things like that before, you know, especially like within the last year or so that something else happened. I remember when there was the flooding in Greenville, and I had a friend who moved out of that area in Wendell because of that. You know, she said that because when it happened and it was nighttime, and they weren't able to see, you know, what was taking place. And they got up and realized that the house is almost totally flooded and they couldn't get out and people had to come. And because of that, she said every time it rains, and she said in nighttime when you're sleeping, you can't sleep good.
I can really imagine. I saw the effect of that Greenville. We had a colleague too who got flooded out and we went up there to help her. We were in council then. She was a councillor. And that place looked like a war zone. Greenville looked like a war zone. And that was just flood. That was just water. Everybody's furniture and clothing and thing was outside on the ground, on the lawns, on the road. It looked like a war zone.
Yeah,
can't forget.
it was something else, you know. So I can imagine in places, you know, like Jamaica and other places, Grenada, who would have experienced, you know, recent situations with hurricanes and storms and stuff. It's very unsettling.
Yeah. Well, let's hope, as I said, that it isn't as bad in Jamaica, but all things point to it them being affected badly. And let's hope with the American Armada in the waters just off us here, that they could render assistance to Jamaica. You understand? That they will be able to render some assistance to Jamaica, you know? So let's see. I'm messing up my visual. I'm trying to get away from this stuff.
While you saw that out, let me send out a happy birthday greetings to Miss Petronella Philip Cummings, who's celebrating her birthday. She's out there in Arima also. She's an ardent listener, viewer to the program. And she is Zena's family.
Oh, okay. So happy birthday, Petronella. Miss Cummins.
Actually, it's her sister.
Oh, it's Zena's sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wishing you all the best today, Miss Petronella and Philip Cummings. Have a great day. Spoil yourself. I want to share a blanket like Zena. Most likely she have a blanket like Zena too.
Oh gosh. We don't know. Families in Arima not all on the same political side. I learned that early o'clock. Yes, I learned that early o'clock. Anyway, Joyce Phillip, good morning. Top of the morning, guys. Cannot sleep, watching Jamaica. Valerie Mendoza also says good morning to the breakfast team. To my brother-in-law, Luco Tafarai, who is celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday to Luco Tafarai. I think I got that name.
Farai.
All right. Who's celebrating his birthday today. Happy God's Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ. Grace, blessings to you all. That's coming from Susan Jessup, of course, #1 program on Wave. And our guest this morning is Dr. David Mohammed. He will be our guest in the second hour. Susan, right? Ava Smith says, good morning, guys. Have an amazing, safe day. Margaret Thomas, Brennan Smith. Let's all say a prayer for the people of Jamaica. Good morning, gentlemen, from Felix Kazoo. Boy Bidesi from Debe says, good morning. Slick Money Grip also. Charles Duncan. Morning to the breakfast show, and to my handsome son Jamar and my wife. That's a new name too, Charles Duncan. So special greetings, Charles, his wife, and his handsome son Jamar. Marva Williams says good morning all. Trini Merle Kitchen from Oshawa in on Canada. Michael Cadet, Donna Ramlo Chan, Erica Charles, Manuela Peters from Orlando, Eunice Dublin, Diane Payne, Carol Guevara, Positive Energy for Jamaica, Diane Payne, to the people of Jamaica, God be with you. He is bigger than the storms. Rena Budu Jennings says good morning. CJ says grand, and I think she went in the subway just about then, so she lost the second part of the greeting. Robert Taylor says, good morning, guys. Nicola McNichols, CJ from New York. Okay, there she completed. Grand morning, everyone. Do have a fantastic day. Much love. Bernadette and Lily say it. Nothing like a subway to upset your transmission, you know. Am I being seen?
No.
I'm trying to
now we're seeing you a little better.
All right, okay. Let me try this one. Debbie Modest says, good morning. Bernadette and Nelissa Yates, of course. Sherma Paul.
Morning, Debbie.
Today is my birthday. Okay, today is happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sherma.
All right, there we go. Another wannabe Lebron, but she's on October, so we'll accept her. Ava Smith says, yes, I pray God be with our neighbor Jamaica. Nicola McNichols also praying for Jamaica. Flatbridge is overflowing and the heavy rains haven't started as yet. Julia Samantha, who is Julia S. Batiste. Good morning, guys. Gavin Frank, Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Katian Charles also sends a special greeting to Arlene in Bronxville, Texas. Carol Guevara is singing again. Rodel Guy, good morning, guys. Apollonius, Lambert Bruce, Ronaldo King, Merle McCormy, Marlon Motley also says good morning.
Good morning, Marlon.
Carol is concerned about Richard, but he's here with us this morning. Florence Bazi says, morning, guys. Have a blessed day to our Caribbean brothers and sisters in Jamaica. Almighty God, please cover them in Jesus' name. Margarita Chow, good morning, guys. Kate George, who is Kenny in Harlem. Kenny in Tobago. He's still in Tobago. Trini says, good morning from Nashville, Tennessee. I think that's Kurt Hope, if I'm not mistaken. Who used to message from Nashville, Tennessee? Was it Kurt Hope? I think the person's name was. I think so. Oliver Manwaring, David McCarthy, all nations at the crossroads. Ambrose Blah from New York, good morning. Claire Lendor Rollins, Alistair Hart says, good morning. This government is like a roller coaster. Well, boy, yesterday, I don't know what happened, you know. But it went from one insult to the next. Good morning, gentlemen. Have a blessed day. That's from Robert Harper. Wayne Ramsey also says, good morning. Evans David, Colted Finch, Melchizedek, DL, Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Wendell, how did you do? I don't know. Andrea says good morning. Carla Hercules says good morning. Like Mother Nature is a red woman from Arima. Beautiful as ever, but bad like crab.
Oh, my word.
Probably not alone in expressing those sentiments.
What red woman do all this?
You're
But
probably
Arima
not
woman do all
alone.
this too.
Now I know for sure DL is
If you want to bad talk, whoever you want to bad talk, leave Arima out your mouth, please.
I feel DL from Arima too. I feel it's a
Leave Arima out your mouth.
And I feel it's a red man from Arima too. Ian Stewart says good morning. Josie Richardson also says good morning. Beauty Culture, Lester Cradwell, Dean Allen said, Sir Charles, that is PTSD you just described. That is also how people in Venezuela must be feeling as well. You're absolutely right, Dean. Lyndon says good morning. Robert Harper, tomorrow, please God, is my sister's-in-law's funeral. Okay. Sending continuous love and comfort to the Joseph family as they continue their grieving process. Condolences, Robert. Sherman and Juliet Kerr still in beautiful Tobago. Like everybody's still in Tobago or they're stranded out.
They can't get back home, you see.
I hope Stephen Harper find his BS back home. Andre Reno says good morning, guys. Nicola McNichols, happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating their birthday. Mrs. R says, my breath of fresh air. Of course, I'm here almost every day.
Good morning, Mrs. R.
Talk about that thief. Talk about that thief.
I don't know why she had to be praising me so, you know, honestly.
Yes.
Stop doing that. Everybody know about us, you know. Leslie says, according to BBC Live, there has already been 3 deaths in Jamaica and 4 in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. I have a friend who's in the Dominican Republic right now. And I know he listens. Anthony Atwell, greetings, breakfast crew. Damian Edwin says good morning from Amanda and Damian. And that's how we do it, Damian. That's how. Well done. You learn fast. Jennifer says good morning. Timothy James, who's a new name. The region. Good morning, gentlemen, and by extension, the region. Okay. Joyce Phillip, weatherman Brian said the hurricane is getting worse. It's moving like a snail. That's the prediction I saw. And Alistair Hart says his grandparents were from Arima. Alistair Hart is a red man too from South. Ron DeSantis Jr. from Virginia, land of the first Caribbean-born governor. Mrs. R is laughing. Okay. GH, that's Garfield Hazel, says good morning. And Michael, this is not Sankofa. Morning, good morning, brothers. Listening from Loma Linda, California. Always listen to the recording because it's now 3:25 a.m. But I am concerned about my country with all that is happening. I am praying for the best. All right, so that's a new person. Thanks for joining us, Michael, from Loma Linda in California. All right, thanks for joining us. All right, that's my greetings there, Sir Charles.
Okay, well, hold on 1 minute. My WhatsApp just went kaput. Right, I think I got it up and running again. So let me say good morning to Kent. in Laventil, who was off the ball very early this morning. Of course, Suzanne is here. Carlin out there in Caranage, good morning. Brenda in Pinal, good morning to you. Shima Paul, good morning. Archbishop Ashton Clark says the degrees are dropping in Canada. Patrick Billy, good morning to you. Powder Magazine, good morning to Zena and her sister who's celebrating her birthday. And Wendell, she said her sister have a bigger blanket than her. All right. Horatio, good morning to you. Mr. Beeps and the folks in Pity Valley. Debbie out there in Mova. Yes, Debbie, we'll get back to those party days very soon.
Hi, Debbie and Mova. Long time no hear from. Yeah. That's Deborah Graves, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's her name.
Oh, this is Modest.
Debbie Modest. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies.
All right. So, those are all the greetings that we have. And good morning to the folks on the Gael stream. I want to say good morning to Errol this morning if he's up with us early this morning. Thank you very much.
Errol.
Yeah. All right. So let's take that break and we will be back, people.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Pay $1 down on hire purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Get ready to experience an explosion of culture. The Faisabad Connection Theatre Company presents a mini concert showcasing incredible talent. Feel the rhythm with the incredible UC stars. Be captivated by the performances of Faisabad Secondary School Drama Group, the amazing Michaela Sylvester, John Denacion, and Daniel Gale, Mandisa Matthews, Abideli the Extempo Master, Whitney Williams, Amelia Harding, and Joseph Lopez. It's a night of poetry, music, dance, drama, and drumming, all come together in one unforgettable performance. Friday, October 31st, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Faisabad Regional Complex. Cost $20. Contact 379-9078 for more information. Don't miss out on the talent, the energy, and the connection.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbeatable real rates, prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising, so you too can say Merry Christmas.
CLR is your turn. The Roadie Lovers Comedy Show is coming to the east. Cipriani Lebac College. One show only. Sunday the 2nd of November, 6:30 p.m. baby. Tickets available at Electronics Arena, Doman Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral, Val Park, Gate Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, West Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Chaguanas, and C3 Center Mall, San Fernando. And IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 683-0356. Eastside, are you ready to laugh? Well, clock it.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
All right, we could get straight into the newspapers today. I kind of black out, try to
Yeah.
on that sun. You ready? All right,
Yeah.
today, of course, is Tuesday, October 28th, and some of the headlines in the Express Online reads, Maduro approves suspension of gas deals with Trinidad and Tobago. Now, that was a bacchanal yesterday. Kamala, I won't be blackmailed. She said we're not dependent on Venezuelan gas. Series setup, that's cricket. Of course, West Indies won the first T20 yesterday against Bangladesh. TTFA sends message of support to Jamaicans, and some of the other trending stories. PM CARICOM has chosen Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. Maduro suspends energy agreement with Trinidad and Tobago, and he calls Kamla Persad-Bissessar a lackey. Don't know what that means. Venezuela
CARICOM chooses Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, that's what Mrs. Persad-Bissessar apparently did an interview with Ian Allen program yesterday. That's what I was reading.
Statement. That's a silly statement.
And
that's not a very analytical statement of CARICOM's position. It's pandering. It's pandering to silliness. Continue.
Yeah. Venezuelan defense minister warns Trinidad and Tobago not to underestimate Venezuela. Our future does not depend on Venezuela, says Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. I don't know why she has taken this combative nature.
On to the news day, because the time for commentaries after we finish, Wendell. With all due respect, thank you. So news day for today. This morning, UNC Senator, Care for Children, Real Jobs for Adults. That's what the UNC Senator is saying. Independent Senator at budget falls short of people-centered goals. Appeal court brings together bail for murder appeals. PM Trinidad and Tobago's future does not depend on Venezuela gas. Kamla, CARICOM chose Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago, not a reliable partner. That is a scandalous statement to say, and it just will rub the wrong message to our CARICOM partners. We are part of CARICOM. You can't single-handedly decide that we are not part of CARICOM, or CARICOM is saying something you don't like, so therefore they're siding with somebody else. That's irresponsible as far as I'm concerned, because it has possible repercussions for the trade, the considerable trade that Trinidad and Tobago has with the rest of CARICOM. So it's an irresponsible statement coming from a prime minister. If nobody wanted to say it, I say it.
Morning poll there, Wendell. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, you just do the poll there.
Yeah, go ahead.
You just gave the poll. You changed my poll. So I changed it.
Trinidad and Tobago. No, that doesn't have to be a poll. That's just my opinion.
No.
Trinidad and Tobago Guardian is now on Sir Charles. So I don't know what you're waiting on, Sir Charles.
I wait till you're finished.
You know, move today, boy. All because Mrs. R greeted me, you know. A breath of fresh air. He vexed.
Yeah, men don't like them kind of thing. Maduro cuts gas lines. Venezuela president suspends energy deals with TNT. Well, we all know that. Also, Kamala accuses CARICOM of siding with Venezuela. We just found out that. Venezuela minister urges TNT not to be used as pawn by U.S. Plenty Venezuela story going on here. Mount Pleasant Estate Hotel named in Trip Advisory Top 10. Right, and business groups calls for calm as Caracas ends deals with TNT. AmCham, THA leaders urge peace amid rising U.S.-Venezuela friction. All right, and fear of war sparks stockpiling of food essentials in South Trinidad. And that was bound to happen at some point in time. So markets will be glad for the sale. That'd be like the pre-Christmas sale. That is it, guys.
Oh, well, thanks for letting us know you're finished, Sir Charles. All right.
He was trying to push some sales for Rumbox and negotiate.
I don't know what. I thought he was going to do an ad, so I was waiting.
Anyway,
I see some supermarket joined the advertisement roster and I didn't know it.
No,
It's a verbal ad.
Well, we have to get them here, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So all your supermarkets outside there, if you have specials going on, call us 299-5156.
Yeah, we have real people on this.
Of course, one of the other things that came into our inboxes, came into my inbox yesterday, was this. Now, I'm assuming it's real. I don't know if it is real, but I'm assuming it is real. But it's
I saw that. I got that endless times from people.
Yeah, from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Homeland Security, to the Chief Immigration Officer. So the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security has instructed that all illegal immigrants detained are to be held at the Immigration Detention Center until repatriation. They're also not to be placed on orders of supervision. Now, I don't know how much space the detention place have. As consideration is currently being given to the implementation of a mass deportation exercise for illegal immigrants. Now, if that is not from the Trump playbook, I don't know what is. You see those words that they said, mass deportation? If that is not a signal where this government is at in terms of a lot of their policy directions, I don't know what you need to see more clearly. Even the use of the words mass deportations is indicative of that, in my opinion. There have already been signals in terms of their leanings, in terms of how they're dealing with the country from the time they got into power. First her criticism before of Joe Biden, which was unprecedented for Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister or Trinidad and Tobago politician, because I don't think she was Prime Minister at the time, but Trinidad and Tobago politician to criticize an exiting head and president of the United States. That was unheard of. And then of course, getting into power and of course, but we know what happened. I don't have to rehash it. There's some concerning things.
Almost like a tit for tat day in the news between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. So Venezuela Vice President say how she wants to suspend the gas deals with Trinidad and Tobago, right? Based, of course, on the position that Trinidad and Tobago has taken with the U.S. warship and so on, right? Then later on in the day, the president, Maduro, said, yes. Well, first we get, Kamala Posad is a response that bring up dependent on Venezuela oil, right? These are my words, of course, I'm using, right? Then the president, Maduro, said, well, yes, he is approving the suspension, right? And then this letter comes out about mass deportations of who? Mostly Venezuelans, I guess, right? At the end of the day. So it's like a tit. We just going through yesterday. Bam, bam. They're just knocking the Trinidadian public who minding their own business.
What gets me in all of this is who is the adult in the room?
Oh, God.
Who is the adult in the room? Because the Venezuelans are also, but I mean, they're reacting and we are reacting back. But who's the adult in the room?
Yeah.
So I mean, because the continuous escalation of these things, because I'm not so sure what that means if Venezuela was to cancel all of the arrangements, because I think we cooperate in other areas too. In terms of energy. I'm not equipped to answer that. Yeah. So the energy sector needs to answer that. And of course the business community needs to answer. I know the business community is kind of tiptoeing through the tulips and how they're saying, but they must have. How can a prime minister say the statement she said about CARICOM and the manufacturing sector of Trinidad and Tobago is not concerned?
Yeah.
Because CARICOM can retaliate and say, well, wait, what you mean that we are not a reliable partner? I mean, come on. These are unacceptable statements coming from a leader of Trinidad and Tobago. Come on. Do better. There is no need to say those kinds of things. It's like you want to escalate things unnecessarily. Why? Why would you want to? Because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean they're against you. Come on, that's not how the world operates, and you're not a democracy. And you are in an island of democracies. So people are not necessarily going to agree with you on everything. That doesn't mean that they're against you.
Yeah. It's like a flexion.
Have your perspective. I'm not saying not have your perspective. You can have your perspective of how you see things. I may not agree with your perspective, but that's fine. That's what democracies are about. So curtail some of the language.
It's a determination to show a different side and to show that you're serious and to show that you're firm. And sometimes that doesn't
I don't buy that, Wendell. It's escalatory in terms of what you are saying. And it's unnecessarily so. Unnecessarily so. I'm sure most of the CARICOM heads are probably not going to respond. I don't know. Rav Gonzalez is one that may want to respond because he is likely to respond. But I don't think
to respond.
I don't think that Mia Motley is one that necessarily respond. Mia Motley has been very but she is unofficially kind of like the Caribbean leader. I think a lot of the Caribbean people like her.
Yes.
And like her style more than any other leader in the Caribbean. I think they like Mia Motley across all the islands, and because she's so intelligent and her oratorial skill is so excellent in terms of bringing across the points. But I mean, I just find all of this is unnecessary, and we on this show we will call it out. If we agree with you, we will say we agree with you. But if we don't agree with you, we'll say we don't agree with you. And I certainly don't agree with escalating things like that, especially with our CARICOM neighbors. And then, in terms of saying they're not reliable partners, what have they said that it's not reliable? Because they want to say that the Caribbean should remain a zone of peace. That makes them unreliable partners. If that statement is true, let me say that. If that statement is true.
Yesterday too, we haven't spoken about it, but the news came out yesterday too, of the extension of the state of emergency as of today, because it ends today.
Right. So I thought it was after the 6 months, but it's not the 6 months, it's the first 3 month period has passed, not so, right?
So the first 3 month period has now passed.
Right. So they're entitled, because under the Constitution, you could only have a state of emergency for 3 month increments.
Right.
So it means you have to go back to but this is just a simple majority in Parliament for the further extension of 3 months. But, and this is where the but comes in, for what purpose are you calling the state of emergency for another 3 months? Because because in August of 2025, the Commissioner of Police said that the threat that for which they had, remember it was the TDPS that called for the state of emergency.
Yes, more specific.
Right? And they said the threat which motivated that had been neutralized.
Yes.
And they were now with dismantling gang structure or something like that.
Correct.
So if the threat has been neutralized, what is the reason for the extension?
Again,
because it's not a blank check. There are constitutional provisions that, because I don't know if people understand that a state of emergency is a serious thing in terms of the abridging of certain fundamental rights of citizens across the country. Some people are okay with it, and that's fine. I am not okay with fundamental rights being abridged as if it's an easy pass card that I'm giving. You have to
stick up in there, guys. So people, the lines are open to you, and because these guys are going to talk about the whole program. 281-1315.
Oh, so we're not supposed to talk.
Okay. Or 299-5156. But we have the caller's time too.
Yes, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, caller.
And Wendell, I just love hearing your gentleman voices. So they cannot talk about the whole session. I just love to hear when you're talking, especially positive thing, Richard. I support you 100%. I find you overdoing it now. Come on, you cannot be dissing the CARICOM. No. Never like Mia Motley. She don't back down on nothing. She just tell you as it is. You understand? She is the queen for the Caribbean. She looking out for all of us. Miss Bissessa, I know you want to take a stand and follow US, but not everything US do you have to follow. It come like the dog with the bone. You go on and you see your next bone there, you open your mouth, the bone drop out. And when you look at the reflection, no bone again. First you deal with the gas deal, then you boy, we don't need that. Come on, you do operate like that.
Okay, thanks very much, Kuala.
It's about reducing the figures for murder, so they could say, listen, under this government or under my watch as commissioner, look at what we brought it down to. That's why it is on our chat.
Well, and I have no problem with that, Wendell. If it is that murder is reduced because every murder less is positive for the country. But what I'm saying is that if you are extending it, what are you using for the justification for extending it? And certainly, I mean, we don't have aggressive civil rights bodies in Trinidad and Tobago that will look at those things and raise issues and seek maybe constitutional review, judicial review of decisions made by the state in certain things. We don't have that aggressive bodies overlooking that. The Law Association is probably the closest, but they're kind of tepid about stepping too much into that. But you have to justify it. Now, well, you know my position. I don't believe states of emergencies are to be called to fight crime. I don't think that's what they're for.
Good morning, Kuala.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I'm glad that you brought up that topic, Wendell. Because when the UNC was in opposition, they seemed to have all the answers to solving the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Come to find out that the only strategy that they have used thus far is a state of emergency. So I am wondering if we're going to be under a state of emergency for the next 5 years. With only to say, look, the murder rate was 560 last year. Look, it's 500 this year. Because murder is still happening. A lot of murder is still happening. So just to say you lower the murder rate by 60 or maybe 100, is it worth the possibility that you just driving on the road and happen to be in a bad drive and police now could put you in jail for an indefinite amount of time, or some police hire you off and they could fabricate something and put you in. We don't recognize that under a state of emergency, you could be imprisoned for an indefinite amount of time. We are so afraid of crime that we're willing to give up our civil rights for what? I'll leave it there this morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, no. I tell all the children, because it's tiring, it's wearing me down. It's tiring.
But it can't be tiring, Wendell, because the fourth estate are the gatekeepers in a kind of way of being vigilant.
Yeah.
About being vigilant to comment on issues, because a lot of times issues are discussed, in homes or in gatherings or in rum shops and snackets across the country.
But maybe also too that that particular pushback that Lincoln is looking for, maybe citizens have not pushed back against the state of emergency because a lot of those things that they have identified, citizens are not really feeling the real effects of a state of emergency. Most people are going about their business as normal. Yes, we're under a state of emergency, but the average person and how many reports have you been hearing that the police have been abusing the powers so I don't think
it's more than that, Sir Charles.
I am saying
it's more than that because we have a constitution that guides these things. All right, and so I think the basic issue is whether the substantive constitutional requirements for a state of emergency still exist.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
they have been met.
Yeah, well, and that is why. Yeah, but remember, we don't have the information. So, coming up, when or if they go in, they actually go in with that what was reported.
But we have that information. They came to us and told us the threat has been neutralized.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that, all right, suppose what they neutralized then has emerged again, or something else is happening.
Well, tell us.
Well, all right. Well, and that time had to come. So let's wait and see. Other than that, we just speculated.
Go in the parliament today and extend it because they don't have to ask for.
All they need is a simple majority.
Yeah.
And so it's whether you know, it's whether any body is willing to challenge it. But you know, when you're in a small island, people don't like to step on toes.
Yeah, but we have one opposition, so we should hear from them concerning that.
Well,
good morning.
You know what oppositions usually do in this country? They just talk a lot, right?
Caller, good morning.
That's what they do. They talk.
Go ahead, caller.
My thought this morning is how did we get here? To begin, where all this started, where the Venezuela and Trinidad and US is concerned. And it's all because of the utterances of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago have us where we are today. Secondly, where are the union leaders and where is Ansel Roche? Lots of people are losing their jobs. Thousands of people have lost their jobs and not a single word from the unions and them. Where are they? Where are their voices? Right? Where are their voices? I'm so perturbed of where we are today as a country because of this new government that's in place. In my years living in this place, you have never experienced this. All this about bacchanal and uneasiness, and it's not healthy for the country. It is not. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you. So, Charles, you can put up the poll.
Yeah.
Because we are approaching that time. Do you agree with the Prime Minister that CARICOM has sided with Venezuela? That's our poll this morning. We would have discussed that earlier on, where she made a comment that clearly the CARICOM has sided with Venezuela. Because I guess Trinidad and Tobago feeling like a cheese standing all alone now. Because I don't know that America say, hey, don't touch Trinidad and Tobago, leave them alone. America ain't make no public statement siding with Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if all you realize that. And they won't.
All right, so the poll is up. People, remember you're voting yes or no, and then put in your comments. All right. Caller, good morning to you.
Morning, to Charles Wendell.
Morning, caller.
Mr. David from KB promotion again. Second time calling.
Yeah, KB.
Yeah, I really enjoy your topic this morning. Every day I really listen to you all. I must say that I think our Prime Minister has not even sit back and at least think before she even talk, because most of the time she wants to put her mouth. And it's not really sounding good on our behalf. I think she's not thinking country. She's not patriotic in my aspect, because if you're thinking about your country, to back up into America don't really think about us. They don't really care about us. Mr. Trump is a fellow, he on his own beat. And as I have seen, which is putting us in more deep waters against our Caribbean brothers and sisters. We need the Caribbean. If you go to Barbados, you will see water one. You will see all our products. They support our products. We need the Caribbean to function. You will not go America and see a solo, or you will see a chubby. You will not go America and see that. You will see their products because they buy the products outside. We need to support our brothers and sisters right on this Caribbean country. And I think our Prime Minister needs to stop her foolishness and get to the program and run the country. Not the way she's doing it right now. It come like they start all over again. It come like they just come back and do things over. And then they have some ministers not telling me anything. Nobody's not talking. Nobody's not telling a mom, you're going on the wrong track. Just talking, and we look bad. We're looking bad right now. I don't know what is happening. God help us.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much. Maybe.
Well, we're up to 7 o'clock news, people. When we come back, we'll take your votes. And then, of course, our guest will be Dr. David Muhammad.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
You're listening to News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guile Caribbean, keeping you informed and connected. I'm Derek. Good day. Amid Venezuela's proposal to suspend all gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has hit back, declaring that the country does not need Venezuelan gas, and never did. Speaking to Newsday, she said Trinidad and Tobago's future does not depend on Venezuela, adding that her government has diversified the economy and avoided the mistakes of the last administration, which relied heavily on the Dragon gas project. Persad-Bissessar dismissed claims of rising tensions, saying relations with the Venezuelan people remain peaceful. Her comments followed Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez's announcement that all energy cooperation would be suspended, citing Trinidad and Tobago's alignment with the United States in regional military activities. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez has issued a fresh warning to Trinidad and Tobago, urging the country not to underestimate Venezuela or attempt any false flag actions as the U.S. warship USS Gravely remains docked in Port of Spain. In a social media video, Padrino described a nearby military exercise and accused Trinidad and Tobago of becoming a de facto foreign military base. Blaming historical colonial ties and what he called modern American imperialism, he warned that any attack launched from Trinidad and Tobago territory against Venezuela would receive a legitimate response. The remarks escalate regional tensions as diplomatic channels work to defuse the situation. 4 teenagers were held by fire officers in Sangre Grande after allegedly stealing several items from the Sangre Grande fire station early Sunday morning. Reports say that around 2 a.m., an officer conducting a routine check noticed some belongings missing. He alerted his colleagues, who discovered that several of their personal items had been stolen while they slept. Residents told the officers they had seen a group of teenagers loitering near the compound shortly before. The officers, along with police, later intercepted the suspects a short distance away and recovered all the stolen items. Fire Officers Association President Keone Guy said the incident highlights long-standing security concerns at some fire stations. He added that the association plans to write Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, and Acting Chief Fire Officer Andy Hutchinson to address those gaps. The family of 9-year-old murder victim Jomo Modeste is renewing its call for justice, 3 years after the child was gunned down while watching a football match in Enterprise, Chaguanas. Jomo, a Standard 3 pupil of the Carapachema RC School, was killed on October 15, 2022, when gunmen opened fire on a crowd at African Grounds, Eagle Avenue. His grandmother, Roseanne Ramdiel Hamilton, told The Express that despite repeated promises, the family has heard nothing new from police investigators and continues to live in survival mode. She described the previous administration's efforts as disappointing, but said she is hopeful that the Kamla Persad-Bissessar-led government can finally deliver closure. Hamilton appealed directly to Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara to intervene and push forward with the case, saying the family remains heartbroken and desperate for answers. She added that they continue to honor Jomo's memory each year on October 15th, determined to ensure that his death is not forgotten. In the region, Venezuela has announced plans to suspend all gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago, citing mounting tensions with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar's administration and the country's recent cooperation with the United States. The proposal was made by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who said the board of the state-owned energy company PDVSA has formally recommended to President Nicolas Maduro that the 2015 Framework Agreement on Energy Cooperation between both nations be terminated immediately. Rodriguez said, the move follows Venezuela's accusation that Trinidad and Tobago collaborated with the U.S. on what it described as a false flag operation, as the U.S. warship USS Gravely docked in Port of Spain on Sunday. She said the agreement, which was renewed earlier this year, covered joint gas field development and other hydrocarbon initiatives, but claimed that under current circumstances, it is now necessary and responsible to suspend all gas agreements between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. In international news, in France, 10 people accused of sexist cyberbullying against Brigitte Macron, the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron, are expected to go on trial this week in Paris. They are charged with spreading false claims about her gender and sexuality, and making malicious remarks about the couple's 24-year age gap. If convicted, they can face up to 2 years in prison. Among those on trial are a teacher, a gallery owner, and an elected official. Two of the accused, journalist Natasha Ray and online fortune teller Amandine Roy, were previously found guilty of slander for claiming Brigitte Macron never existed, but were later acquitted on appeal. The baseless conspiracy theory, suggesting that France's First Lady is a transgender woman, has circulated since Emmanuel Macron's 2017 election, recently gaining traction in the United States, fueled by right-wing influencer Candace Owens. The Macrons have since filed a lawsuit against Owens, accusing her of spreading false information to cause harm and serve an ideology. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Guile Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbeatable real rates, prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising, so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair. We do it all.
Get ready to experience an explosion of culture. The Faisal Connection Theatre Company presents a mini concert showcasing incredible talent. Feel the rhythm with the incredible UC stars. Be captivated by the performances of Faisal Secondary School Drama Group, the amazing Michaela Sylvester, John Denacion, and Daniel Gale, Mandisa Matthews, Abideli the Extempo Master, Whitney Williams, Amelia Harding, and Joseph Lopez. It's a night of poetry, music, dance, drama, and drumming, all come together in one unforgettable performance. Friday, October 31st, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Faisal Regional Complex. Cost $20. Contact 379-9078 for more information. Don't miss out on the talent, the energy, and the connection.
CLR is your turn. The Roadie Lovers comedy show is coming to the east. Cipriani Lebac College. One show only. Sunday the 2nd of November, 6:30 p.m. baby. Tickets available at Electronics Arima, Doman Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral, Val Park, Gate Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, West Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Chagonas, and C3 Center Mall, San Fernando. And IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 683-0356. Eastside, are you ready to laugh? Well, clock it.
S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Darling, look, it's Christmas, a special time of year. Jungle and your loving is all I want to share. I don't want no diamond ring, I don't need the fancy thing. The only thing I'm missing is my husband's true loving. Cause the days are getting shorter, but the nights are feeling colder. All the gifts, the drinks, the tree, they don't mean nothing to me. Give me love, give me love, give me love. La 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 la, yo 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 yo, la 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 la, yo yo yo. La 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 la, yo 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 yo. Give me love, give me love, give me love. Now I like the way you paint up and vanish all my flaws. Now I don't mean to hurt you, but them things don't raise my paws. Punch a cream and gingerbread, carol singers everywhere. But for the Christmas morning, man, you always disappear. And the days are getting shorter, but the nights are feeling colder. All the gifts, the drinks, the tree, they can't do a thing for me. Give me love, give me love, give me love. La 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 la, yo 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 yo, la 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 la, yo yo yo. La 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 la, yo 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 yo. Give me love, give me love, give me love.
Wake up with the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Rise and shine with Wendell Stevens and Richard Raghuvarsing, weekdays, from 6 o'clock to 9 a.m. Start your day feeling good, energized.
All right, everybody, as we welcome you back to the breakfast show here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. And we're happy to be in your company. Welcome inside a brand new hour. And we say a very special good morning to the folks on Gael TV. Thank you very much for being here. And of course, remember, when we come off of the TV stream, you can get us all day, every day at New Era TT Radio and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. And also get us on all your Alexa and Google devices. All right, so we are getting back to the breakfast show, I guess. Yeah.
Sir Charles?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you switch around things there? Don't you normally play the tune right after the news and then do the ads?
Yeah, normally I do. But apparently, something I was not engaged, so I was not hearing. I was playing it, but you guys won't hear it. And Richard went to the ads.
Because I'm saying something different, but
yeah,
anyway,
it's a little mix up in between that thing.
It worked. Anyway, I want to read, because we're going into a poll now, right, folks? But I want to read the exact statement of Kamla Persad-Bissessar, so you all could vote in the meantime. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has criticized CARICOM, describing it as an unreliable partner that has chosen to side with Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. She said they chose Venezuela over Trinidad, and that is something we need to remember. I just want to stick up in right there. Is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago forgetting her statement when she sided with the US and says she has not consulted CARICOM and she is going on her own with this, and CARICOM could have this say if they want? Is she forgetting that? That was what, a month ago, if so long? 2 months ago, when she made that statement? Now she is saying CARICOM is siding with Venezuela and not with Trinidad and Tobago. Clearly, she has forgotten what she said. Anyway, Richard, are you there? You ready to take votes, sir? Or Sir Charles, you will write by the time.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So our poll this morning was, do you agree with the Prime Minister that CARICOM has sided with Venezuela? Anthony Bullard says no. Melchizedek, no. Diane Payne, no. Andrea, no. V. David Manick says yes. Marlon Motley, no. Rena Jennings, no. Kenwin Henry, no. Richard Phillip, no. Gregory Boyer, no. DL, yes. Manuela Peters, yes. Brennan Smith, no. Kathy Ann Townsend, no. Wendy Ann James didn't vote here. Apollinaris, no. Sean didn't vote. Marlene Saunders Sobers, no. Ava Smith, no. Trini in Boston, no. Susan Jessup, no. Charles Duncan, no. Lester Cragwell, no. Lennox Francois, no. Debbie Mitchell, yes. Pedro Gemot, he didn't vote. Terrence Brown, no. Bernadette Yates, no. Debbie Mitchell didn't vote. Wendy Ann James, I think she voted already. Pearl Cordish, no. Sherma Paul, no. Lal Ram, no. Mrs. Michael Oliver, yes. Joyce Phillip, no. Carla Hercules, no. Wendy Ann James, no. Dave Gosain, no. Philomen Green, no. Hi, Philomen. Miguel Gonzalez, no. Valerie Mendoza, no. Felix Cazo, no. Alistair Hart, no. Joseph Clement, no. CJ from New York, no. Eunice Dublin, no. Michael Cadet, yes. I don't know if that's a vote. Who else? Karen Guevara, no. Michael Cadet, well, I don't know, Michael Cadet, I don't know what you're really saying there. If you're voting or what. DKB, no. Jennifer, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Jason Samuel didn't vote. He's trying to produce the show instead. Marcia Rock, no. Florence Bazi, no. Beauty Culture, no. Lennox Francois, no. Susie B, no. Timothy James says, I do not agree with the PM. So I guess that's a no. But he's qualifying the not agree. Old lady, Kamala, okay, she didn't vote. Jussie Richardson, no. Margaret Thomas, no. GH, no. Colton Finch, no. Michael Robinson, no. Mrs. R didn't vote. Mrs. R, be able to.
1 minute there.
Boy,
Should be able to get into the studio. I'll check it.
all right. Boy BDC, no. Don't tell me David Mohammed don't know how to get into the studio.
He was getting a little bit.
Thanks, no. Linda, no. Classic Brother, no. Trini Merle Kitchen, no. Old Lady, no. Wendy and James voted already. James Kamau, yes. Ooh, that's it. That's it.
So, Charles, you have any votes?
Yeah. I'm trying to do all these things here. All right, so Brenda in Pinal says no. Pauline says yes. Valerie didn't vote. Kurt says no. Afria says no. Joyce Phillips says, then both Junior says no, Horatio says no, Rockaway says yes, Sean Ram says yes, Raymond
Sean Ram says what?
Yes.
Sean Ram says yes. Laverne says no. Terry and Peter says no. Captain Rod says no. Linda says yes. And that is what I have here.
And I have one more. Trini, who is Kurt Hope, says no. I think we're going over 72 today.
Right, so our poll this morning, do you agree with the Prime Minister that CARICOM has sided with Venezuela? We had 79 people voting on the poll this morning. And of the 79 people voting, 68 of you said no, you do not agree with the Prime Minister that CARICOM has sided with Venezuela. 11 people said yes, they agree with her. 68 people said no, so the nays have it by a huge majority. For a total of 79. So that's it for our poll this morning. We're done.
All right. So people put this date in your record books, October 28th. We had an overwhelming 79 pollsters this morning. 79 votes came in this morning. Finbar Collins, you're late. But I know you had a vote no to make it 80, but he crumpled and throw it away already. So 79 people today. Thank you very much for participating in our poll. But clearly, as I said, the Prime Minister forgot her statement about CARICOM just the other day when she sided with the US. What did she expect? You already alienate yourself.
CARICOM, but I mean, Trinidad and Tobago is under its current leadership. It's free to side with whoever they want to side with. Let's make that clear. So that if the Prime Minister, who was duly elected, wants to side with the Americans, that's her prerogative via the voting process that takes place in a democracy.
No argument there, Richard.
Right. So that's fine. But, of course, people can object to it. That's also fine too, from the democracy point of view. But when CARICOM says that they want to have the Caribbean remain as a zone of peace, that's not tantamount to saying we're siding with Venezuela. All it is saying is that they basically want no war in the region. But I don't know if the Americans really want to go to war, because the Trump administration has always, to be fair to President Trump, he's always maintained an anti-war stance. And he always sees himself as the broker of peace. To be fair to him, that's what he has said. And of course, he has achieved some successes in terms of at least getting a ceasefire of some sort, in terms of still trying to broker the Ukraine-Russian issue, which is, of course, complex and difficult. So to be fair to him, he's never said that he was a pro-war president. He's always, in fact, said the opposite. He's anti-war, that he finds America is in too many wars. So are the Americans really serious about war being in the region, or are they just showing their military might to get Maduro to step down? That's the million-dollar question that nobody can really answer.
Yeah, but Richard, how do you explain the blowing up of these boats? The attempt.
No, that's a separate issue now, because now they're saying that they came here to deal with the narcotic and narco-trafficking and stuff like that, which of course, I mean, a lot of the region may not have had a problem with, except that you are now engaging in extrajudicial killings. And when it had first started, remember, I'd raised the issue with the Prime Minister then, saying, well, why would you say things that amount to extrajudicial killings and you're a senior counsel? You understand the principles of law. You understand the principles of due process. Because even in Trinidad and Tobago, the death penalty is not afforded to drug trafficking.
Yeah.
And even in the United States, it doesn't bring the death penalty. But yet you have these extrajudicial killings that are taking place. So all of those issues, it's a multitude of things overlapping in terms of this, I suppose this time that we're going through. I remember, just a minute, David Mohammed could wait. I just,
I think we should go.
I was reading some young people, and they were asking me if, because I was around longer than them, if this is an unprecedented time in terms of what we're facing and stuff. I think, so my answer to them was, each period and each generation has an unprecedented time in their time. That looks, so like people in World War I and World War II, those were unprecedented times. The 1990 attempted coup was an unprecedented time for us in what we went through. So I see each generation has to deal with what seems and what can be, an unprecedented incident, and you just navigate through it. And you always navigate through it one way or the other. So now we can bring in the guest because I'm finished.
All right.
Well, it's a good time to bring in the guest, actually, based on his latest topic.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dr. Mohammed. Is that him?
Yeah, he's on.
Yes.
He's here. He's on the phone because we were having some problems with the link. I don't know what
you don't know how to press allow?
No, it's not that. It's a little more than that.
Good morning, David Mohammed. How are you, sir?
I am fine, thank you. Good morning to both of you, all three of you. Well, 2 out of the 3 of you, good morning, because I heard what you said. But yeah, pleasure to be on once again, and congratulations again to NETT Radio. And it's always good when the best program on NETT Radio combines with the second best program on NETT Radio. So pleasure to be on.
We'll leave that one, let that slide.
Yeah, this evening at 6 o'clock.
Oh, so you'll do a poll on your program to get the 79 people to vote. Is that what you're saying?
Let's continue with the interview.
So David, you don't mind if we call you David, right? The issue of because I don't know if you got a chance to listen to my brief interview with Miss Yesenia Gonzalez yesterday.
Yes.
Where she described Venezuela as a narco state. Well, so it said, almost mirroring the words of President Donald Trump. And it's a narco state with drug traffickers and dictators and whatnot. How would you respond to that, a statement like that?
Well, from the best of my knowledge, a narco state is one where the government itself actually finds itself involved in narco activity on a state level. And if you want to, for example, use activities of a government to define them as a narco state, I mean, there must be drug cartels and trafficking organizations with a strong grip on government institutions, including the judiciary and the police force. And also there's a very high level of economic dependence. Now, I don't have any evidence that Venezuela fits that description, but there are countries who have actually used cocaine trafficking to achieve their political objectives. And I guess we can describe countries who do that as a narco state. And there's only one country that I can think of openly that has done that. And it just happens to be the United States of America. Because, hold on. And you should know me well enough by now that I would not say something like that unless there's evidence, not from the opposing forces, but from the culprit themselves. If you go through the United States Freedom of Information Act on CIA covert operations in other countries, you see a list of cases where the government of the United States, through the CIA, COINTELPRO, have used cocaine trafficking. They did it in Laos, Vietnam, in the so-called secret war. They did it in Nicaragua with the Contra rebels, supporting the Contra rebels against the Sandinista government. This was testified. There was even a television show on Fox News with Oliver North. I'm sure you remember Oliver North.
Yes.
Oliver North was the United States military general at the time. And then they sensationalized it. It happened in Panama with President Manuel Noriega, 1989, who they also accused of narco-trafficking, only to find out that he was complicit with the government of the United States. But you see, no one has ever called President Ronald Reagan a narco-trafficker. No one has ever called George Bush a narco-trafficker, with the whole objectives of Afghanistan and opium production and removing the Taliban to reinstall the Northern Alliance to start back the cultivation of opium. So you have all of these cases of government involvement in drug trafficking, but yet still America has never been labeled as a drug trafficking country or a narco state. So for them to turn around now and accuse Venezuela of that is a bit awkward.
But is it then, because I had asked Ms. Gonzalez yesterday when she insisted on calling and using certain words to describe Maduro and others, where's the evidence? As how you pointed out certain examples of how America fits that bill, she couldn't give me any concerning Venezuela. Can you provide any?
Well, you see, again, I think what comes into play here is the fact that Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world. Now, if you look at the other countries with the highest proven oil reserves, countries such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait. Saudi Arabia has a very favorable trade relationship with the United States, and all of America's economic interests are met in their transactions with Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is put aside. But when it comes to Iran, Iraq, and Kuwait, there have been issues, also Afghanistan with the pipelines, the gas pipelines. And so it seems as if there's some kind of coincidence that whenever there's a country that is oil rich or energy rich and they don't cooperate with America on terms of trade, all of a sudden we begin to hear negative things about their governance. We heard about the Taliban being brutal, bloodthirsty dictators, not allowing women to drive. We heard about Saddam Hussein gassing his own people with weapons that he got from America, by the way. We heard about Iran and terrorism. But when it comes to Saudi Arabia as a country, they cut off hands of thieves. They mutilate criminals. They cut off the genitals of men who commit rape in large public forums. If they did not have a favorable trade relationship with America, these issues would have probably been highlighted and referred to as brutal and criminal and inhumane, and they would have probably made steps to try to assault them for their resources.
Well, which just goes
that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, which just goes to the point, David, that countries don't operate on a moral compass; they operate on interests. So once their interests are being met, they turn a blind eye to whatever the moral issues are, because interest trumps morality in a lot of ways. And I think the issue with Venezuela, beyond the oil, I think it's also the rare earths minerals that I think Venezuela has. that also that's cropped up. I know in discussions and some of the international analysts discussing the issue, because of course China has limited access to the United States to rare earths in China, and they recently signed a rare earth agreement with Australia. So I don't know if that is also playing part of the interest component into, which I think is what you're bringing up, the interests that they may have.
Yes, they call it vital economic interest. It's the same with, something that I used to lecture on a lot 20 plus years ago was the HIV/AIDS crisis and the theory of it being man-made. Again, the backbone of the theory was because America identified in their National Security Memorandum 200, drafted by Henry Kissinger in 1974, that the growth of the population of third world countries poses a direct threat to the availability of the mineral resources for America's vital interest. And this population growth is taking place in countries that have the vital mineral resources that America needs. Therefore, they must find a way to curtail population growth. Now, whether HIV/AIDS was or whether it was not man-made, the fact of the matter is population growth in third world countries was one of their concerns. But coming back to this particular region and Venezuela, it's ironic that today marks the anniversary of the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis. All right. So the Cuban Missile Crisis was this standoff that took place back in 1962. It was 13 days from October 16th, around there. And it would have ended on this day, October 28th in 1962, where America, again in that Cold War between America and Russia, America put missile bases in England, Italy, and Turkey, all pointing towards Russia, Moscow in particular, and there was a direct threat. Russia responded, the Soviet Union back then, with placing missile bases in Cuba. Now, it wasn't considered a crisis when America had missile bases in 3 countries aiming at Russia, but all of a sudden it was a crisis when Russia responded by putting missile bases in Cuba. And then 13 days later, they backed down on that. Now, that is very similar to what we're seeing today. The only difference is there's no response. I did see a report about Russian military assets arriving in Venezuela as well. But we today are like how the United Kingdom, Italy, and Turkey were being used by America in 1962 to provoke Russia. We are in a region where we're seeing this buildup of United States military assets to provoke Venezuela, and it will obviously create tensions. We're not prepared to take the story about training exercises and giving out of goodies to school children. I mean, come on, do we need the biggest aircraft carrier in the world and a whole lot of warships and weaponry to give goodies to children in schools? So it's so important that we understand the build-up history to these kinds of occasions in order to understand what's happening today.
So are you of the opinion then that a strike on Venezuela is inevitable?
No, I won't say that. I believe, in spite of the perceived arrogance of the current president of the United States, and note, I say his arrogance, but it's not just him. America as a nation, whether it's been Democrat or Republican, has had a long-standing history of this kind of military intervention and intimidation. So it's not just him. He's just a lot more overt with it. But I think that if the region stands in solidarity together and lifts their voice, and also neighboring countries on the outside of the region also stand in solidarity against any kind of extrajudicial military action that is taking lives of people without due process, I think that that is the best chance that the region has of avoiding war.
Well, that begs the question about the stance that Trinidad and Tobago has taken, David, because they have openly welcomed the United States Armada. They have openly said they are supporting what they are doing. How do we figure in all of this at the end of the day?
Right now, listen, let me say this. At the University of the West Indies, there's a course called Caribbean Civilization, which is a foundational course, meaning that regardless of which faculty you are enrolled in, whether it's engineering, natural science, agriculture, social sciences, humanities, or education, all students have to do the Caribbean Civilization course. I used to teach the Caribbean Studies course at the Cipriani College of Labor and Corporate Studies. And I believe all of our tertiary level institutions, COSTAT and UTT, also have Caribbean Studies courses. And every single A-level student has the compulsory modules of doing both Caribbean Studies and communications, okay? So you cannot come out of the Caribbean region, have an education on the tertiary level, on any level beyond that, and not have the basic foundational knowledge of America's relations with the Caribbean region and with the hemisphere in general. In each of these courses, there's a module on United States imperialism, which gives a detailed history of the relationship that America had with the Caribbean and by extension Latin America. And it started off with what we know today as the Monroe Doctrine, which was established on December the 2nd, 1823, by the 5th President of the United States, President James Monroe, who basically closed off the Western Hemisphere to control by Europeans, which was replaced by control by America. Then in 1900, they introduced the Platt Amendment, which gave America control over territories in other countries. At that time, the establishment of the Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. Then they went on to try to build the Isthmus of Panama. The government of Colombia was against it. So they supported a military coup that actually gave birth to the country Panama, removed the democratically elected government, then brought in a government that built the Panama Canal, again for America's vital interest. Then you had President Roosevelt coming in, setting up warships, same kind of story. We have to learn the history. And then Roosevelt introduced what was called the corollary policy that declared that America would act as an international policeman. Then they moved in on the Dominican Republic. They occupied Haiti. They occupied Cuba. Then you had probably the worst of them all, President Woodrow Wilson, who again came in, military control, made Haiti an American protectorate. And then they had what they called the big stick policy, which was abandoned in 1928, replaced by the so-called good neighbor policy, which has always been centered around controlling third world countries, finding out what resources they have, and manipulating political circumstances to gain control of them. In so doing, there has always been the objective of finding allies or supporters within that region. Same with the Cuban Missile Crisis. They found angry Cubans overseas, Cuban expats, who were upset with Castro or who were against his government, to team up with them and be allies in the fight against Castro. Just like it appears that there are those who they seek after who are against Maduro, who are Venezuelans, who are against Maduro, outside of Venezuela, who they would make allies. And then the last in this step would have been just the other day, 1984, after the invasion of Grenada, the Caribbean Basin Initiative. Again, America setting up, and you know what? The term goodies, was used around the time of the Caribbean Basin Initiative of 1984, where it was felt that America had to give a softer touch in reaction to socialist and leftist governments in the region by coming across as more friendly. And again, more handouts, more benefits, more goodies for the natives in order to buy their loyalties. Now, all I am saying is, if we are in 2025, in the middle of a conflict of this nature, we must take into consideration the history of America and their dealings with Latin America and the Caribbean before we make any kinds of decisions as it pertains to our support of one side versus the other. And when we look, even in Venezuela, there was the support of an assassination attempt and a coup against Hugo Chavez. And that's when Hugo Chavez is one of the most brilliant clips you'll ever see at the United Nations. At the United Nations, after this assassination attempt, Hugo Chavez went to the United Nations and openly referred to the President of the United States as the devil. And he used it multiple times because they tried to kill him, and he's responding. So I think we need to take all of these things into consideration and not just blindly follow or support America in their objectives.
But obviously the current administration is aligning itself with the United States, and I have to assume that they are seeing that the interests, coming back to the interest, always comes back to the interests of states, that they're somehow seeing that the interests of Trinidad and Tobago somehow align with their almost unbridled support of the U.S.
blind support
in the region. Is it? I mean, you must be analyzing it, I'm sure, David. Would it be that they're figuring that there's some interest that they're going to something, whether it be goodies as you refer to it, or as it was referred to back then, as being some interest that Trinidad and Tobago hopes to get out of this presence and standoff?
Well, personally, I see it as a geopolitical miscalculation. It's more a attempt to secure a sense of global national security, more so than actual handouts or other tangibles. Take, for example, the way that America unrelentlessly supports Israel, all right? So no matter how many innocent Palestinians are killed, men, women, children, babies, the death toll now I think is somewhere close to 80 or 90,000. It has never really been condemned. But if 2 or 3 Israelis are killed, it's a national condemnation from America, from England, and all these countries where the citizens in these countries are marching by the tens of thousands against the genocide of Israel. Now, when it comes to the United Nations, you find that in support for Israel, with 200 plus countries in the world, there are normally just about 5 or 6 that support Israel, which are normally America and about 5 or 6 very tiny countries that many people have never even heard of before, that obviously are under some kind of shadow of death. Now, I want to make a point about something here because I am a man of truth. And this whole issue of drug trafficking comes up. So we've already dealt with the point that the war on drugs. Listen, I am 1,000% in with the war against drugs. But I would like to quote for you, goodly gentlemen, a statement that was made on social media, widely circulated video. As a matter of fact, the person who did the video constantly makes reference to how many views and likes he gets. This statement was from about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, all right? This person is currently in the Senate. He's a member of the government. He was not a member of the government at the time that this statement was made, but listen to his words, and I quote, "I have a partner, a Syrian partner, who does be trafficking cocaine. I asked him, boy, how you does feel trafficking this cocaine, destroying people's lives? And he said to me, if I don't do it, someone else will do it." End of quote. Now, it's believed that this individual was brought into the government partly because of his far outreach on social media. But if we are so concerned about this war on drugs, should we not start with some of the local drug traffickers who have arguably been allegedly supporting political parties for the last few decades in this country? Do we have to go out on ships in the ocean to kill people by the 3s and 4s when we have people in the government who openly testify that they have friends who are drug traffickers? And furthermore, would it not be easier and cheaper to apprehend these individuals out on the ships, arrest them, and then interrogate them? Because I could assure you that no one out there on any of those ships that America is destroying, I can assure you, none of them will be top-level big fish drug lords. Obviously, they are working for someone else. So would it not be better to capture them, arrest them, apprehend them, interrogate them, carry out an investigation, and basically say, who are you working for? Where did the drugs come from? But no, whoever sent those drugs out are probably just waiting for the smoke to clear to send out some more drugs. And I don't want us to forget, this is our problem. We forget history because we have an abundance of evidence of links and connections between politicians and drug dealers in this country. Going back to the 1986 Scott Drug Report, commissioned by His Excellency President Sir Ellis Clark. Then we had the 1993 Scotland Yard Report, which was tabled in the Parliament in December of 1993, commissioned by then former Prime Minister Patrick Manning. We had the March 1998 DEA report, after the shipwright agreement where our former Prime Minister, Mr. Pandey, had given America access to our air and sea. And then I want us to never forget a press conference that was held in San Fernando on October, wait a minute. Today's the anniversary of that too. What a coincidence. Today is the anniversary of the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and October 28th, 2011, Mr. Manning held a press conference in San Fernando, which was hosted by Mr. Ralph Maraj, who I think is in the government now as well. And Mr. Manning, in his press conference, identified a number of businesses that were caught in the possession of drugs that were financing political parties. I just gave you 5 references going back to the 1980s, to the 1990s, to the early 2000s, to 2011, all of which have linked and connected politicians with the drug trade. And I left out possibly one of the most important ones, which was June 1999, where then a sitting Attorney General, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, said on a political public platform, when the Dole Shady gangs when the Dole Shady gang was being executed, and we carried out 9 hangings, the British government was threatening to withhold aid from Trinidad. And Attorney General Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj said publicly, none of this is no secret document, hidden microphone, hidden camera, nothing like it's all public. Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, as Attorney General, said that aid goes both ways. They aid us in whatever tangibles, etc., but we also aid them in facilitating the illegal drug trade through our region. Wait a minute. So is it that all of the drug lords and big fish criminals and drug traffickers who are in Trinidad can stay in Trinidad and be protected by the same law? And that only the lackeys and low-level, bottom-feeding, minimum wage employees that they send out on ships, that they're the only ones who are to be killed? But we totally ignore the ones that are thriving in our country. So when you look at it from that point of view, with the evidence, with the facts, with the references, it looks like we are being completely misguided over this whole matter.
David, just before we go, I just want to find out, as you said, with enough pressure coming together of CARICOM and other islands around us, putting pressure on the U.S. to probably pick up their ships and go home. Even if they were to put that kind of pressure, how likely is it for the U.S. to actually do something like that? Do they have a history of backing down like that and moving away?
Well, let me quote who I consider to be the wisest man who lived in the 20th century, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who said, "Our unity and solidarity is more powerful than nuclear weapons." Now, unity being more powerful than nuclear bombs. Look at the world today. Israel is a tiny nation with less than 10 million people that are carrying out mass killings of their neighbors to the tune of an actual percentage of their own population. They have killed as many people that can occupy a whole country. But they are supported. This is why they can continue to do it. Look at the Caribbean. We might think that the Caribbean region is tiny, isolated, ineffective. Well, let's think again. First of all, the Caribbean has an enormous diaspora. And all of these zones and countries that are seen to be either superpowers or strong nuclear powers or military powers have enormous Caribbean diasporas in them. United States of America, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Right now, the Deputy Prime Minister of England is a black man whose parents are from Guyana. The leader of the opposition in England is a black woman whose family is from Nigeria. Now, think on the world stage. Right now, connections are being made between Africa and the Caribbean. September the 7th, 2021 was Africa CARICOM Day. You have the second conference this year, September the 7th, 2025, where countries in Africa are now in discussion with the Caribbean for dual citizenship, removal of visa restrictions, direct flights. Africa has much more mineral resources and natural wealth than is reflected in their GDP. Same with the Caribbean. And now you have an interconnectivity between Africa and the Caribbean, potentially, which can be a major power-broking conglomerate on the world stage. You have all of these seats at the United Nations in the Caribbean and in Africa, that if there is a properly established solidarity, and again, trade restrictions that are seeking the best interests of these two regions, and then we begin slowly but surely to cleanse ourselves of the kind of political thinking of the 1960s and 1970s, where leaders were under the threat of falling out of favor with America. Look at Burkina Faso. Yeah. Burkina Faso, along with Mali and Niger, the Sahel states, have kicked the French out. The French were raping their resources, raping their minerals. Countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda, with British colonial histories, are now thinking of more independence and doing more business and trade with each other.
So David,
you could take some of the richest corporations in the world, companies like Cadbury's, for example, chocolate company, Lipton's tea. They are rich because of the resources and minerals that they get out of Africa and Asia.
So David,
there, clearly, Africa and Asia and the Caribbean potentially can be much greater power brokers and not just continue to yield under the military threat of America.
Okay, so you're saying it is possible that with that kind of coming together, they can
absolutely
this way,
because it's not just us. We're not just alone.
All right. Well, David, we're winding down the interview now. Guys, all you have any last questions for David?
No, I have that. David has answered. If people hasn't listened to David this morning, I guess
they can listen to him this afternoon at 6 o'clock too.
Nah, he can't get the kind of traction that he get just nowadays. So people watch over this interview because I mean, I've worked with David for so long, and I mean, sometimes I would just sit and listen to him, and that's what I did this morning. David, thank you so much for opening people's eyes.
Thank you, and let me just say one last thing, if I may. Yeah. As a teacher, I always give homework, and for homework, I want us to look up the United Fruit Company of Guatemala, 1954. Guatemala had a very progressive president called Jacobo Arbenz. America was becoming very rich from Guatemala's agriculture industry. President Arbenz nationalized the agriculture industry, and then America orchestrated a coup against him, removed him, so that the United Fruit Company resumed making millions of dollars off the Guatemalan agricultural economy. But the point that I want to make on that is, you very frequently hear President Trump talking about MS-13 and all these gangs out of El Salvador, Guatemala. Guatemala was a peaceful country that was turned into one of the world's biggest crime hotspots after that kind of interference. And that is the trail or pattern that tends to be left by America in their political interference in Latin American countries.
David, that's where we have to leave it this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
greatly
much
appreciated.
Yeah, David, we'll talk. Thank you very much again for facilitating us this morning.
All right.
Thanks a lot, David.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm agreeing with, who is this? Trini, say, bring him back again, give him another hour. Because if you know David, he could talk uninterrupted for hours. You understand? He has that wealth of knowledge. I don't know. He's one of the
people, we will be back shortly.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
You're listening to News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guile Caribbean, keeping you informed and connected. I'm Derek. Good day. Amid Venezuela's proposal to suspend all gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has hit back, declaring that the country does not need Venezuelan gas and never did. Speaking to Newsday, she said Trinidad and Tobago's future does not depend on Venezuela, adding that her government has diversified the economy and avoided the mistakes of the last administration, which relied heavily on the Dragon gas project. Persad-Bissessar dismissed claims of rising tensions, saying relations with the Venezuelan people remain peaceful. Her comments followed Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez's announcement that all energy cooperation would be suspended, citing Trinidad and Tobago's alignment with the United States in regional military activities. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez has issued a fresh warning to Trinidad and Tobago, urging the country not to underestimate Venezuela or attempt any false flag actions as the U.S. warship USS Gravely remains docked in Port of Spain. In a social media video, Padrino described a nearby military exercise and accused Trinidad and Tobago of becoming a de facto foreign military base. Blaming historical colonial ties and what he called modern American imperialism, he warned that any attack launched from Trinidad and Tobago territory against Venezuela would receive a legitimate response. The remarks escalate regional tensions as diplomatic channels work to defuse the situation. 4 teenagers were held by fire officers in Sangre Grande after allegedly stealing several items from the Sangre Grande fire station early Sunday morning. Reports say that around 2 a.m., an officer conducting a routine check noticed some belongings missing. He alerted his colleagues, who discovered that several of their personal items had been stolen while they slept. Residents told the officers they had seen a group of teenagers loitering near the compound shortly before. The officers, along with police, later intercepted the suspects a short distance away and recovered all the stolen items. Fire Officers Association President Keone Guy said the incident highlights long-standing security concerns at some fire stations. He added that the association plans to write Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, and Acting Chief Fire Officer Andy Hutchinson to address those gaps. The family of 9-year-old murder victim Jomo Modeste is renewing its call for justice, 3 years after the child was gunned down while watching a football match in Enterprise, Chaguanas. Jomo, a Standard 3 pupil of the Carapachema RC School, was killed on October 15, 2022, when gunmen opened fire on a crowd at African Grounds, Eagle Avenue. His grandmother, Roseanne Ramdiel Hamilton, told The Express that despite repeated promises, the family has heard nothing new from police investigators and continues to live in survival mode. She described the previous administration's efforts as disappointing, but said she is hopeful that the Kamla Persad-Bissessar-led government can finally deliver closure. Hamilton appealed directly to Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara to intervene and push forward with the case, saying the family remains heartbroken and desperate for answers. She added that they continue to honor Jomo's memory each year on October 15th, determined to ensure that his death is not forgotten. In the region, Venezuela has announced plans to suspend all gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago, citing mounting tensions with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissesser's administration and the country's recent cooperation with the United States. The proposal was made by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who said the board of the state-owned energy company PDVSA has formally recommended to President Nicolas Maduro that the 2015 Framework Agreement on Energy Cooperation between both nations be terminated immediately. Rodriguez said the move follows Venezuela's accusation that Trinidad and Tobago collaborated with the U.S. on what it described as a false flag operation, as the U.S. warship USS Gravely docked in Port of Spain on Sunday. She said the agreement, which was renewed earlier this year, covered joint gas field development and other hydrocarbon initiatives, but claimed that under current circumstances, it is now necessary and responsible to suspend all gas agreements between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. In international news, in France, 10 people accused of sexist cyberbullying against Brigitte Macron, the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron, are expected to go on trial this week in Paris. They are charged with spreading false claims about her gender and sexuality, and making malicious remarks about the couple's 24-year age gap. If convicted, they can face up to 2 years in prison. Among those on trial are a teacher, a gallery owner, and an elected official. Two of the accused, journalist Natasha Ray and online fortune teller Amandine Roy, were previously found guilty of slander for claiming Brigitte Macron never existed, but were later acquitted on appeal. The baseless conspiracy theory, suggesting that France's First Lady is a transgender woman, has circulated since Emmanuel Macron's 2017 election, recently gaining traction in the United States, fueled by right-wing influencer Candace Owens. The Macrons have since filed a lawsuit against Owens, accusing her of spreading false information to cause harm and serve an ideology. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
CLR is your turn. The Roadie Lovers Comedy Show is coming to the east. Cipriani Lebac College. One show only. Sunday the 2nd of November, 6:30 p.m. baby. Tickets available at Electronics Arena, Doman Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral, Val Park, K Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, West Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Chaguanas, and C3 Center Mall, San Fernando. And IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 683-0356. Eastside, are you ready to laugh? Well, clock it.
Get ready to experience an explosion of culture. The Faisal Connection Theatre Company presents a mini concert showcasing incredible talent. Feel the rhythm with the incredible UC stars. Be captivated by the performances of Faisal Secondary School Drama Group, the amazing Michaela Sequester, John Denacion and Daniel Gale, Mandisa Matthews, Abideli the Extempo Master, Whitney Williams, Amelia Harding, and Joseph Lopez. It's a night of poetry, music, dance, drama, and drumming, all come together in one unforgettable performance. Friday, October 31st, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Faisal Regional Complex. Cost $20. Contact 379-9078 for more information. Don't miss out on the talent, the energy, and the connection.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Guile Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbeatable real rates, prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising, so you too can say Merry Christmas.
You know, one of the news items that we completely missed was that the Senate debate also ended abruptly too yesterday, where quite a few senators and government ministers did not speak.
Okay, so they collapse?
Well, I couldn't say collapse, but it ended abruptly again because the leader of government business also didn't speak, who is Daryl Alahar, but Kennedy Swarat Singh, I don't know what role he plays, but he wound up the debate before quite a few people didn't speak. It was a news item that came out kind of late last night into this morning, so it may not have made the news as yet, the mainstream news as yet, but that also happened, you know. Two of the PNM senators, because PNM will only have 6 here, two of them didn't get to speak because the debate was wound up. But Dr. Marlene Atz was quite good. I saw some parts of her presentation. She was quite good, and she basically pointed out about the borrowing on the local as opposed to the foreign market of $19 plus billion that's going to be borrowed by this government, and where's that money coming from? She basically hinted, and these are my words, of a devaluation at some point in time. You know? So we'll see what happens. You know? Anyway, I want to again thank David for coming on this show and opening some eyes and certainly some ears. I've already Googled that grapefruit company that he spoke about. Is it grapefruit in Guatemala? Where is it? I already pulled it up. Yeah, the United Fruit Company had a powerful and often negative influence on Guatemala to the point it was nicknamed El Pulpo, which is the octopus, for its extensive control over land, infrastructure, and government. So I'll finish read it off. I'll finish read it later today. You know, so thank you very much, gentlemen. Have an absolutely beautiful day. I know.
Guys, have a fantastic day, whatever it is that you do today. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health on this Tuesday morning. Of course, our thoughts are with our Caribbean neighbors in terms of Jamaica and what they're expecting. I think landfall is sometime today, maybe early afternoon. So our thoughts with our, our regional counterparts in Jamaica. What they
I get, is it that when a storm...
To the credit of the Prime Minister, she did say that Trinidad and Tobago is on standby to assist.
To assist, yeah. Which is good news.
Yeah.
Is it that when a hurricane is moving as slow as this one is moving, it's more dangerous?
Yes.
I guess so.
Because if something dangerous moving across you by moving slow, and it ponging you more and 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 more, and it's still moving on, and it ponging you more and more and more and more and more and more, what will happen?
I don't know why I feel you stopped talking about hurricane. I don't know. Are you transitioned away from a hurricane there just suddenly, you know? And I know I see it in your face.
The evil thoughts are in your brain. I said,
oh, Lord.
I said nothing. Look at Sir Charles, went with it innocently.
Yeah.
Folks, have a beautiful day. Richard Ragubar.
All right. Yeah, have a fantastic day, people. And of course, this has been the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned